One way you can prepare to defend your potential over critics is to make wise choices. Consider carefully with whom you associate and where you spend your time. Examine your reading materials and how you fill your day. Be cautious with whom you share your dreams, if you share them at all. A second priority is preparing to meet attack from critics, is to be sure that your vision is from God. Don't make up your own ideas. If they contradict with God's word, you know your ideas are not from Him. God will not deny His word. False dreams and fake prophecies are sure ways to lose your potential. Satan will use your critics to distract you any way he can. Prepare for his attack by staying in close fellowship with God and seeking His knowledge and wisdom. A third method for fortifying yourself against the assault of critics is to seek God's discipline and direction in your life. Be truthful in your dealings. Act with justice and virtue. Live at peace with others, so as far as it is within your power. Being careful, however, not to compromise your loyalty and obedience to God and His word. Seek His correction when you have failed and rejoice in your sufferings, because suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint us. God will honor your efforts to obey Him, and in doing so, you will guard your potential. Sooner or later, Satan is going to step over the boundaries of your defense, and you are going to be under attack. Then it's time to move from guarding your potential to protecting it. Perseverance is the key. You may not win the war in one battle, but you can stand firm in the midst of each assault. Abraham, Joseph, Moses, David, Paul all persevered through numerous battles to emerge victorious. At times they fluttered and failed, but they always returned to the battle. You too must persevere when forces of evil threaten to destroy your potential. The story of Nehemiah offers some hints on how to do this. Nehemiah, a common man, had a job as the cupbearer of the Persian king in whose land he was an exile. When he heard of the difficulty of his former countrymen who had not been carried into exile, and the sorrow state of the city of Jerusalem, he mourned for them and asked God to help him return to Jerusalem so that he could build the city. God heard his prayer and granted him favor in the king's sight, so that the king gave Nehemiah both his permission to return to Jerusalem and resources to begin rebuilding the city. Not everyone, however, was happy that Nehemiah was taking an interest in the well-being of the city and its inhabitants. When Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the Ammonite official, heard about this, they were very much disturbed that someone had come to promote the welfare of the Israelites. Even though Nehemiah was trying to do something beneficial, these fellows were angered by his plans, so they started to make trouble for him. "What is this you are doing?" they asked. "Are you rebelling against the king?" But Nehemiah was not to be deterred. He gathered workers together and began to rebuild the gates and the walls of Jerusalem. This angered Sanballat further, so that he began to mock the Jews. What are those feeble Jews doing? Will they restore their wall? Will they offer sacrifices? Will they finish in a day? Can they bring the stones back to life? Tobiah joined in his mocking. What are they building? If even a fox climbed on it, he would break down the walls of stones. Nehemiah did not reply to their mockery. Instead, he turned to the Lord in prayer. He kept on with the work. There are several levels of anger. At first, your critic may be annoyed by you. But if you persist in your work, he becomes angered. Sanballat, Tobiah, and their associates became angered by the continued work on the walls of Jerusalem, and committed themselves to destroying the potential of Nehemiah and other workers who were building the city. They all plotted together to come and fight against Jerusalem and stir up trouble against it. But Nehemiah and other workers prayed to God and posted a guard day and night to meet this threat. Nehemiah responded to this new threat the same way he had answered the last one. He prayed to God instead of answering his critics. He also added a second line to his defense. He posted a guard to lessen the likelihood of the attack. When their enemies heard that they were aware of their plot and that God had frustrated it, workers all returned to the wall, each to his own work. Allow God to fight for you. The workers stood guard, but God frustrated the plans of the attackers. The Israelites relied on him to fight for them. Wherever you hear the sound of the trumpet, join us there. Our God will fight for us. For a while, Nehemiah and his helpers worked in peace, yet they did not let down their guard. From that day on, half of men did the work, while the other half were equipped with spears, shield, bows, and armor. The officers posted themselves behind all the people of Judah who were building the wall. Those who carried materials did their work with one hand and held a weapon in the other. Each of the builders wore his sword at his side as he worked. Don't allow quietness in the battle to convince you that the war is over. Don't confuse quiet with peace. Finally, when Nehemiah's enemies received word that the wall had been completely rebuilt, they sent a message to request a meeting. Come, let us meet together in one of the villages. Nehemiah wisely countered this as well, recognizing it for a different kind of attack, but they were scheming to harm him. So he sent messengers to them with his reply. I'm carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop? Well, leave it and go down to you. First, Nehemiah sent a messenger instead of going himself when his enemies summoned him. Stay away from the opposition. Second, he refused to stop his work to talk. Don't waste time talking. When Sanballat sent letters 4 and 5 times requesting Nehemiah to come to a village to talk, and tried to intimidate Nehemiah by suggesting that he would soon be in trouble with the king in Persia, Nehemiah remained firm in his stance. He again sent a letter instead of going himself, and he accused his opposers of making things up in their heads to create trouble. You too remain firm in your decisions and refuse to be intimidated by your oppressors. Nehemiah used the many methods to fight for his vision. You must employ the same methods to preserve your potential from attack. There will always be people who are committed to destroying you. They will criticize you, mock you, and become angry with you. Let them. You are not responsible for their actions, only your own. Fight for your vision. Share your dreams only when you must, and choose carefully with whom you share it. Do the groundwork and stay on course when the going gets rough. Expect opposition and be careful not to allow the threats and accusations of your enemies to intimidate you. Stick with your decisions and remain committed to your goal. Don't let quietness fool you so that you are caught unprepared by a later attack. Talk to God about your needs and allow Him to respond to your prayers. Never answer them yourself. Finally, keep yourself busy. Don't allow the battle to interfere with your work. You may not be popular, but you'll be successful because God works with those who put forth the effort to stay with the vision He has given them. Thus your opposers will learn that they are not as important as what you are doing, and you will remain focused on your vision with renewed wisdom and strength to accomplish it. Your potential is worth the effort of overcoming its enemies. Read the book of Nehemiah from the Bible. If you're new here, please, it would mean so much to us if you subscribe to become part of this family for innovative ideas and practical insights on helping you discover your own purpose in life. My name is misuse George from Sustainable Innovations, where we'll help you design your life and live your making. If something has resonated with you, leave it in the comment box below, and it may inspire someone else. May God bless you.